going on, y'all? 5 Sports Talk back at it with another video talking some NBA, and it finally happened. Yes, that's right, folks. It finally happened. Jimmy Butler has been traded from the Chicago Bulls to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, and the 7th overall pick. The Bulls also traded the 16th overall pick to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So now I'm here to break down this trade for you guys because I knew this would happen. I'm a Bulls fan. I knew eventually there was a chance where Jimmy could have gotten traded, and he finally gets traded. So I'm here to break down the trade for you guys. Who won, who lost this trade, looking at it from both perspectives, and what are the outlooks for both teams moving forward. Let's look at this from the Bulls side of view. I think the Bulls absolutely lost this trade. They were only able to haul in LaVine, Dunn, and the 7th overall pick for Jimmy Butler. I can't believe Boston couldn't beat this offer. Like, are you kidding me? This is exactly why we say Gar Forman and John Paxson are incompetent enough now to run their job as front office executives for the Chicago Bulls, and it is time for them to move on from this position and be let go and go somewhere else, because they absolutely undersold and did not get enough value back for Jimmy Butler, who I mentioned, like I said, one of the best two-way players in the NBA. He can score, he can defend the other team's best player, and he doesn't turn the ball over, and he's efficient. And you get that bad for him. I mean, Zach LaVine is nice, but he's just coming off an ACL tear. He averaged just under 19 points per game last season, so I do like LaVine. I do like him a lot. But then Chris Dunn, he averaged like 4 points a game last season. And the 7th overall pick in a draft which, after the top 5 picks, there's really not much there. I mean, Dennis Smith Jr. is nice, but I don't like too many other players outside of the top 5. So that is what you got for Jimmy Butler. Oh, not to mention you also gave up your 16th overall pick. So you couldn't even keep the 2 first-round picks. You gave up the 16th overall pick as well. So I think this was a terrible trade for the Bulls. I can't believe Boston couldn't beat this offer for Jimmy Butler. For sure, they should have gotten 2 first-round picks and 2 players as well for Jimmy, who, like I mentioned, is a top 10-15 player. And now this kicks in the rebuilding mode for the Bulls, who are going to now rebuild with Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and whoever they draft with that 7th overall pick. This means Dwayne Wade, who just opted in on his $23 million player option, is probably going to get bought out by the Bulls. And then Rajon Rondo will also get traded, because the Bulls are going to go into full rebuilding mode now. So you can expect guys like Bobby Portis, Denzel Valentine, guys like that to get playing time. But like I said, I'm not very high on Chris Dunn. I don't know why the Bulls wouldn't try and look to see if they could get Wiggins or somebody else. Like I said, there was not enough value back. And like I said, I know getting stars back, 4 stars, usually doesn't happen. So not getting Wiggins, not getting Karl Anthony Towns, I understand. But giving up the draft pick to get a move up maybe 9 spots, like, what is that for the Bulls? So I think they completely lost this trade. I think they could have done better. Was it the worst trade in the world? No, I'm not going to say that, but it was not that good of a trade. So I didn't like it too much for the Bulls, but now they have to kick in their rebuilding process, and now it looks like the team is headed for a huge, huge rebuild this offseason. Let's quickly talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves, who now have Jimmy Butler on their side, and he is reunited with former head coach Tom Thibodeau. And you're talking about a lineup now. Okay, guys, listen to me. Ricky Rubio, who knows what's going to happen with them? He's been mentioning a lot of trade rumors. He's been mentioning a lot of trade talks, so he might not be there. But let's say they get Derrick Rose back. Imagine that. Imagine they get Derrick Rose in free agency. Now you got D. Rose, Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, Gorgui Dieng, and Karl Anthony Towns. You can interchange D. Rose and Ricky Rubio, because you know it's going to be one of those 2 guys starting at point guard for Tom Thibodeau's team. And you're looking at a pretty damn good team. It's going to be fun to watch. Karl Anthony Towns had a monster year last year. He's only going to get better. Andrew Wiggins is only going to get better. And now you add an all-star, a 2-way all-star, in Jimmy Butler, who is going to relieve so much pressure off of these 2 young guys. And he's going to be a leader on that team. I think they're a playoff team next year. I just believe so. I think they're better than Portland and Denver, who are fighting for that last couple playoff spots last year. I think with the growth, the natural progression that these guys are going to make, and now you add Jimmy, and then they could add players in free agency as well. I think they are going to make the playoffs next year. I think they won this trade by far. They should have at least given up Shabazz Muhammad for the Bulls. Bulls should have asked for them. I don't know what Gar Forman and John Paxson are doing. But with that being said, I do think the Timberwolves won this trade. They are going to be a playoff team, and I like this trade for the Minnesota Timberwolves with Jimmy Butler. Look, it was time to end the rebuild eventually. Jimmy Butler's only 27, by the way, so you can still build with that core. And now you've got pieces to make that push finally with your star players, okay? Let me know what you guys think about this trade. Who won, who lost this trade? Leave a comment down below. And as always, thanks for watching.